The next question I had in mind is throughout lecture or discussion or any conversation, really, questions inevitably arise. How do we track those questions and get the most demanding questions addressed? So I'm happy to kick that one off. As a computer science and humanities student who's working through his upper division classes now, I say that I'm lucky if I understand 10 minutes of my lecture fully. Like I think I'm flying if I understand 10 minutes of my lecture, which means when I don't understand what is being presented to me, I have a few options. I can either track what I don't understand, I can not care what I don't understand, or I can leave class maybe. I don't know, just turn off my brain completely. Um, I have found that it's much easier to not do anything and just take whatever is being professed to me, presented to me, communicated to me for what it's worth. And if I don't understand, I don't understand. But I have also found tremendous value in capturing what I don't know during a live lecture, either in a note card or a post it note or on my Google Docs, and highlighting the ones, which means I have to actually take a little bit of time after lecture to see which are the most demanding questions. Because if I only am getting through 10 minutes of lecture of understanding something, that means I'm left with anywhere like from 60 minutes to 90 minutes of not understanding a darn thing. It means that I'm going to have to choose my time wisely on what I need to focus my time of inquiry on. So, had I known that this is a reality and this is not a challenge that is unique to me earlier in my academic stages, I would have set a goal for myself to follow up on one of the questions that arise in my mind when I don't understand something for each of my lectures and hopefully build momentum so that I can fill those gaps of understanding. But Catherine, I would love to hear your thoughts on some of the challenges that you have had in lecture in our current academy.
Yeah, I have had very similar challenges to you. So as you were talking, I was kind of having flashbacks to when I was in these big lecture halls, and they don't let you ask questions. So I would have to, like write down my questions on the corner of the paper that I was taking notes on. Um, and sometimes I wouldn't go back to those questions, but those questions were really legitimate questions. So I learned that I had to go back and reread my lecture notes, and I would highlight all of the questions that I had, um, and try as best I could to try to see if there were answers in any of the other resources that we had. Um, but I also started noticing that other students had very similar questions. And we would get together either before class or after class or sometimes on the weekends, and we would compare our questions and try to figure out if we had answers to each other's questions. And if we didn't, then we would go to office hours to try to find answers. And that was really intimidating and really scary. But I think because we had talked about our questions beforehand, that really helped us to feel like we weren't alone in having those questions. And so those were legitimate questions to have. Um, but I think the other thing that I learned how to do in terms of tracking questions was uh, to actually realize that I have like I ask very similar questions of course material. So when I was talking earlier about questions coming from who you are and um, and what you're interested in, I started realizing that my questions were slowly, like as I was looking at the types of questions that I was asking, they were revealing things about me and what I was interested in as a person and what I was interested in as a scholar or as a student or um, as a citizen or as a woman of color. And all of these parts of my identity were shaping the types of questions that I was asking. And I think that really helped me to start developing a sense that, like, yes, my questions mean something. They're important. They're coming from somewhere that has more to do with who I am, and they're not just specific to this class or to the course material. These questions come from lived experiences.
That was really well said. One of the themes that we hope to instill, or perhaps values we hope to instill in students, is this larger conversation about purpose and of values themselves. I think the sooner we can help you all do that, the sooner you will be able to find more meaning in your life. And that's one of our themes.